Thanks for tuning into my channel. Welcome. I'm Kidest, and this is where I share tips, insights, guidance on manifestation, consciousness evolution, co-creation, personal empowerment, and all of that good stuff. And in this post, I want to return us to the series I've been doing on self-confidence. And this time, approach that idea of having total self-confidence, unshakable self-confidence, by addressing the construct of beauty. Now, in your own experience, I'm going to start this post with a question. Where does your sense of what's beautiful come from when it comes to human beings? Where does your sense of this is what passes as beauty, this is what passes as, you know, attractiveness and the like come from? Where I want to take this conversation is towards the idea of empowered beauty. What I mean by empowered beauty is that you have intentionally, consciously, through self-awareness, through self-reflection, have authored your own definition of beauty based on what you value, based on what you find to be beautiful. Now, beauty is a construct that is open to interpretation. And although we live in a culture or cultures that put forward different standards, different criteria of what passes off as beautiful, from my perspective, how you can stay empowered, regardless of what the environmental or cultural or even familial narrative may be, how you stay empowered when it comes to your personal appearance is by setting your own standards, defining your own ideas, if you will, about what makes a human being, what makes you beautiful. From my perspective, anytime you give all of your power to something external to you to tell you what the right thing is, in this case, what the right way to look is, what the right appearance is, what passes off for beauty. Anytime you give all of your power away to someone else to set those standards and to define those standards, you compromise, if not altogether, don't leverage the power of your voice, the power of your authenticity, the power of your own intelligence, the power you have to author your own personal experience. So I encourage you to start with exploring who sets the standards of beauty, of what's beautiful in your experience. Where does your sense of what's beautiful come from? And what passes off as being beautiful comes from. And this is regardless of your gender, regardless of, what culture you come from, you can define for yourself what beautiful means. Any of those, descriptors of beauty, pretty, attractive, handsome, gorgeous, beautiful, any of it, sexy, any of it is something that you yourself can define. And by doing so, take the power back. Put that center of power back within yourself to say, well, this is what I think is beautiful, and live by that standard. And you can do that. You can do that. You don't have to subscribe to cultural, culturally fabricated narratives of what beauty is and what beauty can be. One of the things that I really loved when Dove did this was when they started, using in their campaigns, women of all shapes and sizes, of all, melatonin shades, to sort of, debunk the myth of there being just one type of attractive features as far as women are concerned. And the same goes for men and anyone on that gender spectrum. Regardless of what culture or society says is beautiful, you can set your own standards. You can set your own bar and come at that narrative attractiveness, that narrative of what passes off for beauty from a place of empowerment. One of the things that I like saying is that, we never look at animals in the wilderness and criticize their appearance. We never look at a lion's mane and go, oh, that lion is so disheveled looking, it's so unattractive. Like, we never do that about mammals in the wild, if you will. So part of authoring your own sense of what's beautiful, including your own features, including, developing that skill of valuing your own appearance, valuing your own features, appreciating the gifts of existence itself by appreciating who you are and how you look and your uniqueness. You can stand in a stance of empowered beauty where regardless of what anyone says, you acknowledge, accept, appreciate your own being, your own features, your own way of creative expression when it comes to what beauty is. So I really encourage you to explore this. The idea of beauty, from my perspective, is meant to inspire creativity. It's meant to inspire art, if you will. And art, as it was, is open to interpretation. And one of the things that I've shared on my social channels is to come at the examination of physical appearance, whether we look at it from body confidence perspective or other angles. What I encourage is coming at it from a place of acknowledging the uniqueness of the individual. So you can look in the mirror and recognize that you are uniquely beautiful. There's never going to be another human being that looks exactly like you and has your unique skills, your unique talents, your unique preferences, your unique creativity, that there's a wholly unique nature to your existence, and you can learn to embrace and appreciate all of that. You can look in the mirror and say, I am uniquely beautiful. There's no one else like me. And I live by my standards of what I think is beautiful. And I'm not going to let cultural narratives, culturally fabricated standards, impact my ability to feel good about myself. So you can set those standards. It comes down to creating those, healthy cognitive boundaries, psychological boundaries that I talk about in other posts. But part of protecting your self-confidence, part of protecting your creativity, part of, protecting the you-ness, the unique you-ness that the universe has created, is learning to create boundaries on what you're going to allow to influence your feelings, your felt responses. And you can do that when it comes to beauty, regardless of what passes off as beautiful in the cultural landscape, in the ever-changing landscape of cultures. You can be self-authored when it comes to your understanding and standard of what's beautiful. So I encourage you to explore this. I worked in the field of psychology for a time. I worked in cases where we looked at the impact of these kinds of standards on the self-esteem of young girls and the like. And it's something that we can protect ourselves from by, developing these constructs that are protective in nature, developing these constructs and psychological boundaries that put a, a point of no entry to things that have the potential to make you feel not enough, to make you feel less than. And from my perspective, you know, you can author any sense of beauty, prettiness. You can define it for yourself and live by that standard and enjoy yourself and your life for it, which is ultimately what I hope, you get from all of this stuff that I post here. It's about empowering you. It's about encouraging you to develop the cognitive resources, the psychological capital you need to really be fully self-expressed in a way that you enjoy expressing who you are in the world. So I wanted to touch on that idea of empowered beauty. You know, Nothing outside of you has the power to make you feel not enough unless you let it. So this is about building those cognitive boundaries, those standards within yourself so that nothing from the external world can come in and touch your your self-confidence, your belief in yourself, your level of self-acceptance, your level of self-worth, and all of that good stuff. So that's what this post is about. That's what the self-confidence series is about. It's about increasing your self-confidence, increasing your self-esteem, increasing the, positive self-regard you're capable of having for yourself and creating about yourself based on your own standards. I fully believe that you can be 100% self-defined, 100% self-approved, 100% self-validated, and still be a caring, empathic, responsive human being in your relationships. So I encourage you to explore this idea of beauty and what beauty means to you, what you think is beautiful. And if you're not already there, develop that way of seeing yourself as a uniquely beautiful human being and really embody that understanding and sense that you can define what beauty is and live from that self-defined standard unapologetically. And if you're already there, if you're already in that place of self-acceptance and self-approval, then my hat's off to you. If you enjoyed this tip on deliberate creation, personal development, consciousness evolution, be sure to visit my website for books, courses, and more to help you in your personal development and personal transformation journey.